have like mild synesthesia. And so when I'm feeling a certain way, I associate that pretty strongly with like a color and a certain key.
Will you explain to people what synesthesia is?
Yeah. So my understanding of it, at least, is that like what you hear, like notes are, for some people, it's correlated to certain numbers or shapes. For me, it's more color and also like my emotions tend to really feel like
Connected
to color and key or sound.
Yeah. So it's kind of like your senses. Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know, an extra sense that's correlated with another sense.
I don't know that I would call it an extra sense, but I feel like it's this crossover where senses kind of meet and they like play off of and affect each other. So like what I hear is connected to what I feel and connected to what I see.
Yeah.
Or for some people, what they taste.
So if you listen to any song, a specific color you'll feel.
Not necessarily one color, because like for me, so C sounds yellow, D sounds like a little bit more orange. As we get to like G, A, it feels really blue and green.
Oh, really?
And some people actually yellow, for a lot of people, yellow is closer to like B and A. And then as you get closer to like C, D, you're actually getting more towards green, and then F, G is going to feel, anyway, it's different for everybody. But for me, it's like C is very yellow. Like D is really orange. By the time I get to G, A, it's like a dark blue. A is bordering like purple. And so,
do you like see the color, or do you kind of feel the color?
In my mind's eye, I'll see, but it's more of a feel, like a sensation of like, this feels really blue.
Okay.
This feels really yellow, or overwhelmingly yellow with like little shots and punches of blue and red here.
Will you ever feel a color when someone's speaking to you?
I don't know that I've ever like consciously thought of that. So I would say no. Because with music, it's something that I kind of can't ignore.
Okay.
But yeah, that pattern for me definitely, I think this is involved, is like, I'll be feeling a way about something where I'm like, oh, this just happened this week. Like, I don't know, like, or currently, like, I've been feeling like I lost this friend, and this is not a real example, but a past example. So saying currently was weird, but I lost a friend who was like a really good friend for 11 years. And I was just feeling so much grief. And for me, this song was super blue, but also very like huge punches of red. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to sit down and just like get this out. And so I sat down at a keyboard and I was like, okay, before I played anything, I was like, okay, this feels like da, 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 da. And I was like, okay, what key is that in? Figure out what key that's in. Oh, wow. And then I'm like, okay, so now I need to find something that almost unlocks the words that need to spill out of my brain, out of my subconscious, like heart and mind.
Right.
So I usually find like a some chord changes that just match what I'm feeling, and then I'll just freestyle over it. And a lot of times a first verse will pretty much spill out. And maybe there's like a couple words that need to be filled in later, where I'll just sing a gibberish word in place.
Right.
Or sometimes it'll be like a chorus just falls out. And then maybe it takes a little bit longer to write the verses. And yeah.
Do you know many other people with synesthesia? Have you talked to
I don't people? Generally talk about it, so I haven't like...
I would talk about it all
I'm like,
the time.
yo, does anybody else experience this?
Why are you kind of private about it?
I don't know so much that I'm like intentionally private. It's just not something... It's kind of like your feelings. Okay. Like if somebody asks me how I'm feeling, I'll be really honest.
Sure. But you're not just like...
But I'm not like, hey, by the way...
I have feelings and they're intense.
I'm feeling this way, and lay it all out. And then even if I do, like I don't feel like most people describe their feelings as colors. Or describe a song with colors.
To relate to.
And since I think I haven't heard that, I just haven't really communicated that. Just because I've never seen that communicated either. Right. Not generally. But yeah, I don't know. Have you heard of other people with like,
I have a buddy that has, I think, mild synesthesia as well, and I think his manifests a little bit different. But I think he like certain colors, and maybe you experience this, but certain colors like make him really sad, or like, it's funny. I remember one day, like, there's this beautiful sunset, and he's like, that makes me kind of sad. And I don't know how long that feeling lingers with him, but yeah, it's so crazy how, I don't know what you want to call it, a condition or a.
I don't know. For me, it's like I did describe it as related to my feelings. I think more so just because sounds have such a direct relation to my feeling, and I do have relation for color to sound. I feel like color's less directly associated with my feelings, but if I'm asked to describe a feeling, I could be like, oh, this feels like eating chewy sprees like a week after Halloween, you know?
Wow, yeah.
And that's not that that's common for me to do, but, or like describing something as like, this feels like fall, or this feels hot,
right,
or this feels cold, or blue, or red, or, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting. I wish everybody could like really dive deep when they're trying to describe their feelings.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to like, because sometimes you're like, yeah, I feel sad, but it's way more nuanced than that.
It's so much more.
You know, and it's like there's so many things going on in my heart and my brain, and yeah, most people don't want to be that vulnerable even to dig into like, what exactly is this feeling? It can be kind of dark sometimes, but that's cool that you kind of have that gift that you probably feel really, really connected with how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. For better or worse.
Sometimes to the point of like trying to ignore it.
Yeah.
Because it can get distracting.
Be intense.
Yeah. Where I'm just like very aware of how I feel. And sometimes that also makes me feel a little bit like too self-aware, or like selfish, where I feel like I'm just too aware of what's going on in my own head and heart and world, that I'm like, I prefer to take a step out of this.
Yeah.
It's helpful for songwriting. It's good for journaling.
Yeah.
But I tend to avoid
he whispers.
My feelings. Yeah, I tend to avoid my feelings.
Well, you shouldn't have come on this podcast then. No, I'm just kidding.
But not in situations like this. I'm just like on my own in my day to day. Like I'm not like, because I'm so aware and like I'm able to describe them. I feel like I'm pretty like able to dissect what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And like really identify. So I try not to spend too much time doing that.